On evolution. Does Darwin's take on evolution exclude man's possible evolution? One of the most interesting books for those who are new to the system of the fourth way is Ouspensky's The Psychology of Man's Possible Evolution. The book addresses the topic of conscious evolution and other fundamental concepts of the system of the fourth way. The book was intended as a preliminary study for anyone who wanted to join Ouspensky's meetings. A link to the playlist of videos with exclusive philosophical commentaries on this book will be in the description. The fourth way talks about man's possible evolution. But what is meant by that? Man's possible evolution, as referred to by Ouspensky, is not an evolution in the classical Darwinian sense. Since Darwin, the thought that life processes can be described in evolutionary terms has become commonplace in most debates in the natural sciences. According to evolutionary theories, organisms seem to naturally evolve to an ever higher level of development. According to Darwin's theory, evolution is a function of random mutation and natural selection. The organism that is best apt to adapt to changes in its surroundings has the best chance for survival and to pass on its traits to its offspring. Survival is therefore the necessary and sufficient condition for procreation, and procreation, in succession, is the necessary and sufficient condition to sustain life. But this type of evolution is not the kind of evolution the system of the fourth way talks about. Evolution, in a Darwinian sense, is mechanical, due to the fact that it is primarily governed by random mutation. There's no consciousness in randomness, therefore, Darwin's evolution is not caused by a conscious effort. But how is man's possible evolution different from a Darwinian evolution, if that type of evolution is the product of mechanical processes? The work takes man as an incomplete being, because nature develops man, just to the level at which it can survive in everyday mechanical life. But the teaching of the fourth way is not about merely mechanically surviving life. The work talks about how one can escape from one's mechanicalness and acquire a higher level of consciousness. The teaching aims to acquire access to a higher level of consciousness, so that man gets access to its higher functions, which are already present in man as he naturally is, but has no access to. It is self-explanatory that man's evolution, to escape from mechanicalness, cannot, like in a Darwinian sense, be mechanical itself. Therefore, man's possible evolution can only be the result of a conscious and sustained effort to remember oneself, that is, to remember that one is mechanical. Appreciating these preliminary concepts, as discussed in Ouspensky's book The Psychology of Man's Possible Evolution, was the prerequisite to having been granted access to Ouspensky's meetings. Appreciation of the thoughts and principles of the fourth way is considered to be a sign that one possesses a magnetic center, a basic inclination that there is more to life than what's present on the face of it. Mechanical life, as we know it, is not all there is. Magnetic center tells man that there are other levels of being, and indicates that there must be an evolution possible to acquire these other levels of being. But mechanical man does not know about these higher functions. Why is man kept unaware of these higher functions? What is the reason that he has no ability to access them? What is the point of providing man with capabilities without him being able to use them as he naturally is? These are all valid questions that point to one of the most fundamental concepts of almost every esoteric teaching. Esoteric teachings are readily available in everyday life but not valued by mechanical man, due to his mechanical state of consciousness. In that way, esoteric teachings appear to be hidden, referring to one of the connotations of the term esoteric. But esoteric teachings are only hidden from mechanical man because he has no valuation for it. Furthermore, if man would have access to his higher functions by default, he would not appreciate them as such. He would take them as ordinary mechanical functions and could not appropriately value them. Nothing of value can be given for free, Gurdjieff once stated. Anything given without effort or payment cannot be valued for what it is worth and will eventually be lost. This idea is very easy to verify in one's own life. But why are higher functions hidden from one's view? The teaching of the system of the fourth way takes man as an undeveloped being. Man functions merely by the merit of his mechanical functions. Being mechanical means that man is asleep, and one who's asleep cannot notice anything other than mechanical life influences of external impressions. Man is hypnotized by imagination, internal consideration, identification, and negative emotions. Man thinks he is conscious, but in reality, he is fast asleep, while dreaming being awake. The illusion of being conscious does not evoke the desire to get consciousness, for one is convinced to be already conscious. Would you make an effort to acquire something, of which you would be convinced to already have in your possession? Are you ready to admit that you are aware of the fact that you are not aware? If so, you would be eligible to begin making a conscious effort to evolve to a higher state of being. That is what Ouspensky meant by man's possible evolution. This evolution is not necessary or random but optional, for anyone unsatisfied with the results of everyday mechanical life, and willing to make a sustained and conscious effort to remember himself.